Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. I tell you what, this thing going on between Iran and Donald Trump is just crazy. They are nowhere near close to negotiating anything, but I'm not surprised. Donald Trump is not exactly the best negotiator, as you can see. I think it don't take a rocket scientist to see that this man is not a negotiator. He talks all that crap at the end of the day. And I bet you in business, he probably pays people or got lawyers that do a lot of the negotiating for him. I seriously doubt if Donald Trump does this himself. Let's face it, the president is not only limited in his vocabulary, he's limited in his thinking. He's not negotiating material. You know, there's a reason why he's sending a team over there and he's not included. He's not a negotiator. Number two, you can't bomb a country and then turn around and say the ceasefire is still on. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. And they have been disrupting ships trying to go into the Strait of Hormuz, and that's now closed again, according to the reports. And y'all, they are talking about keeping this thing closed for 6 months. There is no way all these different nations across the world that heavily depends on that oil in that region, they're going to be able to survive that long without getting their oil and goods and everything they get from that area. So it'll be interesting to see how this entire thing will unfold. Especially by the end of the year, what is this place going to look like? Because this is absolutely insane what's going on. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
We've got some breaking Iran war news. It may take 6 months to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. That, according to the Pentagon, and it's not going to happen until after the war is over and a peace treaty is signed. Now, why will it take so long? Because that's how long it's going to take to find the 20 Iranian mines that are hiding there. It's that hard to get them. Folks, if the Strait of Hormuz doesn't open, gas and oil prices are going to continue going through the roof. Gasoline's going to continue going through the roof. But the effect on our economy across the board, United Airlines just announced plane tickets are going up 15 to 20% in response to what's going on with Iran right now. 15 to 20%. Other airlines are going to follow suit. The same thing happening with fertilizer expected soon, because fertilizer, guess what? Based on basically oil and natural gas. And the fertilizer prices should be affecting food, they said, starting in several months. That's going to be a little more of a delayed impact. This is a disaster, guys. Inflation is already going up. It's already going up, frankly, because of Trump's tariffs, and Trump's been ignoring it. And now we've got this horrific Iran debacle that may not even end for 6 months or longer. And help me spread the news. Make sure to share and follow for more. Thanks, guys.
Breaking news. Iranian officials report all Arab Gulf ports have stopped working. Traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has plummeted from 110 ships daily to 0. Global shipping faces a massive standstill. Stay updated with Dahab Whispers.
Is the United States military going to begin clearing the strait?
Oh, we are actively clearing the strait today. But we did stop Project Freedom at Iran's request. As you said, it's their only card. If we militarily reopen the strait, which is a challenge, it's not a 1 or 2 day.
I'm going to resume anytime soon?
If it's clear in the next few days that there's not a good path to a negotiated settlement, we'll go back to the military method to open the strait. The economic pressure on Iran right now is increasing dramatically. Not only is their government in the country losing their main export revenues because of our blockade, but also our economic fury operation that we launched starting just a few weeks ago is collecting the monies of the corrupt IRGC leaders that they've squirreled away abroad. We are turning the economic pressure up on the leaders of Iran to drive their motivation to come to the table.
All right, so I checked into what everybody's thinking about gas shortages. And what I found out was it says as of May 2026, the United States is facing tightening gasoline supplies and higher prices, especially in California due to global oil crisis stemming from the war in Iran and disruptions in the Strait. While not running out of oil completely, the nation is seeing low inventory and local shortages caused by panic buying and regional supply chain issues. There is no nationwide immediate dry up, but some areas are experiencing shortages because of aging refineries, lack of capacity to process domestic crude are contributing to the pinch with gas inventory sitting below the 5-year average. Some analysts warn of severe oil shortages coming within weeks if this conflict in Iran continues to block key shipping lanes. Though the U.S. has about 25 days of oil supply and is a major producer, the combination of international conflict, refined product shortages, and high export levels is putting an immense pressure on domestic markets. So there you have it. That's all I know. God, I hope our gas doesn't go up anymore. And do you just run out? Is that possible?
Tonight, the new showdown in the Strait. U.S. F-A-18 fighter jets firing on 2 Iranian oil tankers, small guided bombs seen here striking their smokestacks, using delayed fuses to disable their propulsion without destroying the ships. CENTCOM saying the ships violated the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports, which has been squeezing Iran's economy to try and get the Iranian regime to make a deal. While Iran is again firing on civilian targets in the United Arab Emirates, UAE officials say its air defenses intercepted Iranian ballistic missiles and drones. All as we're learning more about Iran's attack on U.S. ships Thursday. Iran launching missiles, drones, and fast boats at these 3 U.S. Navy destroyers. The U.S. repelled the attacks, but also responded with strikes on Iranian military targets, the first strikes on Iranian territory during the ceasefire.
Of course we fired back at them. They were shooting at us. That's what I would expect to do. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at.
And President Trump saying the ceasefire is still in effect.
They trifled with us today. We blew them away.
In a phone interview with NBC News today, President Trump saying the war is not over, again insisting, quote, we're pretty close to a deal with Iran, who's not yet responded to the U.S. offer to end the war.
There's not like a naval blockade like in a video game. They put a bunch of mines in international waters, and they're just trying to fire missiles at boats that are going over there. It's almost impossible to go through and stop every single missile and every single thing that happens. Imagine somebody put a bunch of nails on the highway and you have billion-dollar tires and you don't want to run them over on accident.
We have some major Iran war news right now. According to CBS News, American intelligence has begun seeing signs that Iran is preparing to mine the Strait of Hormuz. This is a significant development, and let me explain why. So Iran is preparing to deploy mines in the shipping lanes of the Strait of Hormuz, where you have thousands of boats going through. Estimates say that Iran has anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 Chinese and Russian-made mines. This would make it impossible to go through the Strait of Hormuz if you're a shipping boat, but also if you're a military boat. This is in response to Trump saying that the United States Navy may start escorting oil tankers, for example, through the Strait of Hormuz. They wouldn't be able to do that if the strait is mined. That would effectively cut off all shipping, all routes throughout the Strait of Hormuz, and make it impossible to move oil in and out, which would be a very significant development. And it's not easy to just demine a whole waterway. So we'll see what happens. Spread the word. As always, follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. We have some major Iran war news right now. According to CBS News,
Yeah. Now, what concerns me is what Donald Trump has been denying all this time. He kept saying we don't need nothing from the Straits of Hormuz, but they need to open it up and let people in. I think that's a big lie. If America was in such good shape, like he claimed, he's been claiming for a while, Why would there be shortages anywhere in the country? But there are shortages. And as long as the Strait of Hormuz is not open, those shortages are only going to get worse. I wish we had an administration that just would tell the damn truth. I mean, seriously, would it be that terrible to tell the people the truth and that way people can kind of prepare or know what's to come? They don't want to tell you a damn thing. All he want to do is get on the news talking about what they obliterated. They don't have this. They don't have a navy. They don't have we wiped everything. It's all lies. You know, he'd rather get on there and lie than tell the American people the truth. All right, there are shortages. Now, tell us where these shortages are. Even that article that she read, it didn't give specific areas where the shortages are. But I know that's going to come out over the coming weeks, but still, I think people have the right to know, especially everybody that's working out here are taxpayers and they have the right to know. What is wrong with these people? Seriously. I mean, I know your rulership is fucked up, but damn, you know how to take it to a whole new level. Wow. So anyway, y'all, you know, all the money that people are paying with these prices going up, now just the sound of the Straits of Hormuz close, you know what that means. That means this week we're going to see prices jumping up again for food and gasoline, everything. I mean, these people, they don't care. Donald Trump already said he don't care how high a barrel of oil costs. He doesn't care if it goes over $200. Yeah, because he does not have to worry about these things. He's sitting up there robbing the place. So he's got so much money, he doesn't have to worry about anything. But we're not all presidents stealing and robbing everything in sight. So we do have to worry about what the prices are. And I'm telling you, it's like every time I step out the door, the gas prices are higher every single time. Yeah, I mean, y'all, can you imagine? There's places that are like $8, $9, $10. People cannot pay these prices all the time. And they done did something to the gas. They done watered it down or did something because it seems to burn a lot quicker than before. Before, you could fill up your tank and it may last you all week and beyond that. Now you fill up your tank, you're burning that stuff off in days or just a few days. So they're definitely doing something. And I know it's these rich people probably told them to do something to the gas to make it burn. That way you just keep loading them up with money by returning to the gas station more frequently. That's what they want anyway. Yeah, low grade, watered down. It is definitely not good quality gas at all. And it's these oil giants that don't need the money, but they're going to squeeze everybody for money. And see, that's why I said they should, more companies knowing how employees, y'all don't pay people right anyway. That's why I always call America a slave nation. The wages have not kept up with the cost of living because remember, the people that own these businesses, okay, were the same. They're the offspring of the ones that enslaved, and you mofos don't like to pay. They don't like to pay. That's why the wages are very slow. to catch up to the cost of living. They think your labor should be free to them or should cost them pennies on the dollar. And that is unrealistic when you're living out in all this inflation. But you can't expect better from these folks. You just can't. You can't. They'd be just like Donald Trump saying they don't care. They don't care. Cap, thank you so much for your super chat. You are serious but funny at the same time. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good to see you again. They took the speed limit up in Florida, and foolish drivers end up spending more on gas. Yeah, you are. If you're going to be driving fast, see, these companies don't care. They just want you to spend more money as the gas prices go up. But, I wish people were in a position where you could boycott it. You know, if everybody do it, it would have to be long term. It would not be effective doing it one day. Because I know some people talk about these one day, oh, on Thursday, nobody go to that. Doesn't work. That doesn't work. The only way it could work if you are willing to do a boycott in the long term. If you're not willing to do it in the long term, a one-day boycott, that ain't gonna do nothing. That really ain't gonna do nothing because you'll be back the next day spending your money. Oh yeah, yeah, and it's going to get worse. Nimba fashion, yeah. The cost of living in America is so ridiculously high compared to many African countries. The prices of necessities in US will be very high in the coming months. Most Americans will really suffer. Yeah, they're already suffering. You got to look at how much everything costs, and then you got a big portion of the population that are unemployed and literally cannot find work. That's why you are seeing so many videos of people saying they have put hundreds of resumes out and can't get a single phone call. Number one, y'all, number one, they're no longer looking at resumes like they used to. They're heavily relying on AI to go through everything and pull out the best candidates. Before AI, yeah, a lot of people would just sit and review your resumes, but now they heavily depend on many of these companies heavily depend on AI to pull out the resumes that they want to see. So you could be putting in resumes, but AI is constantly overlooking your resume. So you would have to find out what kind of keywords and things the AI is looking for a particular position that you're applying for. Or maybe you should pick up some of the terms that are in the description and put that in your resume in order for AI to really see you. But it's hard. It's hard. It's a lot of people that are really suffering financially. And even the ones that are working are talking about after they pay their bills, they barely got enough money to go get food. So, yeah, Donald Trump has made life a living hell for a lot of people in this country. Since he has been the sitting president, unemployment is so bad, he won't even let the report come out anymore. He banned the report, the jobs report that used to come out every single Friday for decades. Now that report is gone because he don't want you to see how worse things are since he took office after Biden. Yeah, it was bad under Biden, but it's far worse under Donald Trump. And he doesn't want anybody to see it. So the jobs report has pretty much disappeared. And you can forget about him doing anything about it, because every single interview that I have watched of Donald Trump talking about the economy, his answer is pretty much everybody's just going to have to tough this out. That's really what his answer is. He's not saying, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this and try to drive the prices down. How about getting rid of the gas tax? Do something. Damn. Do something. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. And stay prayed up, because we sure going to need it in these final days dealing with these folks. For real. So, y'all, have a wonderful afternoon and be on the lookout for my next live. Shalom, family.